Hello sweeties, Nanna Tazzie here. I thought I'd do the video real quick in between other videos on how to alter or how to prep books to be altered. There's a caveat here. Depending on what you want to do with the books, depends on the type of prep you need. I picked out 3 from my latest collection of books to use. You want to look for books that are, well, mostly intact. Some things can be rebuilt. This had tape on it. I think it was just starting to come apart, but we can rebuild the spine. Yeah, it had a slight tear here. We can rebuild that. So this would still count as being an okay choice. Being a dictionary, it's the American Heritage Dictionary, which is awesome. It's got thinner paper. We could use this as a book itself. We would go through and take out however many pages throughout, or just gut the whole book, which I'm leaning towards because it is falling apart already. But it's got so many images in it, you could use, you know, as a collage, or if you folded these just so, you made sure you used these pieces or stuck them on as like embellishment pictures. If you made like envelopes or something out of these, yeah, those would be great. Or if you did flowers and did partial cutouts with these images in there, they'd turn out very interesting indeed. And being a dictionary, it is thinner paper, though it's not the thinnest dictionary paper I've ever seen. It is still quite thin. It does have the coolest letter pages I've ever seen though, so that might be something I rifle through anyway. But I'll show you how to gut this one. The next one, it's well worn enough, it's starting to tear on the inside from the text block to where it's stuck to the spine. So that would be another good choice to gut. If you wanted to keep it as an altered book though, I would suggest, you know, piping glue down there, let it run down, bend it, get it to where it's set up and you've got it stable and squared and there's a good weight on it. That would help hold the text block together. But yeah, that one really does need gutting as well, which I didn't notice until I just started telling you about it. Okay, so those 2 would be gutted. This one we give a look over. It has a great feel to it. These fabric covered ones from way back when, they keep that feel for a long time. And other than a little dust, I'd go over that with a damp cloth. It's in really good nick. The pages have an off-cut tooth. I don't know the best way to show you that. They have an off-cut tooth, and it's got that really torn edge, and every so often there's one that sticks out longer than the others. I know there's a name for this style. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. Dang it. I quite like that. So this one, keeping in mind its spine is great. It's not tearing off of its cover. That's quite firm. Yeah, this one we will alter, and I'll show you how to do that. First, I'm going to go yell at a baby puppy who is eating a chair. Okay guys, back again. Let's see. We have to gut these and prep this to use as a journal. Let's see. Okay, cutting mat, X-Acto knife, I also use my pocket knife, just because that's usually what's on me and within reach. Yep, that's already starting to split there. Alright, we'll start there. When you do these books, look for ones that are separate, the text box is separate from the actual spine. And these look like they're individual signatures instead of just single pages glued to the spine. That helps for other things, other types of projects. Oh yeah, that poor thing. Okay, I always stand them up to do them, usually. It's probably not helping you to see it, but you want to put just enough pressure to pull the cover away from the text block, just to guide the X-Acto knife where you want it to go. And you should get a reasonably clean slice. I have screwed up a few of these and poked holes in the spine. It is fine, it just means you'll have to cover it or you know, putty it with some glue and some extra support in the back anyway. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. This one's peeling a little. Oh yeah, that poor thing's done. And again, we're using a little bit of pressure to push against each other for the cover and the spine. Please use safety precautions when you are cutting. Plenty of us have seriously hurt ourselves, and yeah, it's just not worth the pain in the finger. But that is our gutted book. And when you hear people in videos, whatever, talking about they used a gutted book as their journal, or they used a cover, this is what they're talking about. Do not throw these out. There are so many things you can do with book pages. Stain them, paint them, turn them into envelopes, flowers, all sorts of things. There's a million and one videos out there on YouTube for what to do with book pages to make ephemera. So keep that. Okay, so that gives us one. This one was dinged up a little, so we'll have to take a little more care, I think. It is still separating pretty easy though, so it shouldn't be too bad. Clean off my knife a little here. Ooh, I don't know what paper they use, but that is stout on the back there. Oh, and I tore it. Some of them will not tear cleanly. You will get rips and tears, that's fine. This is all going to be covered later. Some come out just absolutely beautifully and others just won't. Just go with the flow, don't be too terribly upset by it. And you can completely rebuild, recover covers. That one. And be careful where you keep your finger, like behind here. If I slip, that's going straight into my finger. So try and curl your finger or not have it in there at all. Just be mindful of where your digits are if you do in fact want to keep them. There we go. Wow! Yeah, that was definitely ready to come out. Okay, so before we do anything, find the lid for your knife. Okay, now we have another text block full of stuff we can do with it. Okay, 1, 2. That will need reinforcing for sure, and when we get this far, we'll take the tape off. This whole cover will be rebuilt. And I have a couple projects coming up for a fundraiser, actually, that I'll be donating to. So yeah, those will be fixed up pretty. And I'll do videos on how I'm making them or putting those together as I go. Might as well. Okay, this is the one we want to keep. It is a little dusty. We'll need some cleanup on the cover. Everything in here looks great. So I'm going to use this as an altered book. And what that means is we'll get in, let's see, several pages here at the very beginning that all hold together. And probably there. Not there. Let's start there. Okay. What I'm going to do is tear out, let's start with 3. Pretty thick though, I don't know. No, I'm going to start with 2. Let's see how 2 does. Okay, I'm going to start with 2 pages, and I'm going to just hold on to the book and tear them carefully. Oh, these are in fact individual pages stuck to the spine, it looks like. Okay, so that may not work the way I want it to. Damn it. Because that tore the following pages, so they're all like stuck in there together. Well, shoot. Let's see. That gave me 4, and then we're going to turn 7 or 8 maybe. I'll do 10 just in case. 10 sounds good, and that gives me a lot of room. If I need to come back and take out more, I can. Okay. So 2 at a time. Do not worry about this part, the smutsy bit. We're not going to worry about those, because when we come back through, we're going to glue this page to this page, and it will hide all the torn guts in the middle. Okay? Those will be glued. So that will become one page. Okay? And now we're going to flip 10. 1, 2. Okay. Now, there are people that do these, depending on what you want to do with your book. Depends on how precious you need to be when pulling pages out. Some people will come back through with tweezers and pull out all the little torn guts. I don't do that. I just glue these 2 pages together. To cover that, and that helps the spine, the inner spine here, with stability. So those 2 would be glued together, which adds some strength to your book. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I need that. Okay. My light's about to change, I think. Getting earlier and earlier. Makes me very sad. Okay, I'm going to keep that separate for sure. Okay. So the next question might be, what do you do with the books? What do you do? Why are we prepping them? Which is an excellent question. You can do anything you dang well please with these books at that point. You can paint the pages, you can gesso them, you could, one's a bit big. use them as a glue book or a collage book. You could gesso them and use this as a sketchbook. If you want the words through it, just use a clear gesso. If you want it as an actual art journal, I would go with just regular gesso. You can glue pretty paper to them, to your pages. And make it an actual writing journal. Fill it with ephemera, flip outs and places to glue pictures or ticket stubs, or oh, that one's stuck really bad. Not cool, dude. Not cool. Work with me here. Okay, so the cover is amazing on this book, but the way they've done the text block is shite. Okay, it should be alright for what I plan on doing with the book. Yeah. That was one. So I'll go back to this one. Oh my goodness. Wow, it did it worse. Holy crap. And some books are absolutely perfect at this, and some books just aren't, and you're just going to have to play with them. The other thing, where to get books from. These ones were gifted to me, but usually I get mine at the thrift store, and it wasn't until I participated in the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge recently that I didn't even know they had hardcover books there. I'd never noticed them before, but you could pay a buck for a book if you really wanted to. They have all different sizes, all different types. You can use the pages for whatever. So they might have something you really want or need there. And for a buck. We have here in town, it's called Amy's Bookcase, I think. But it's where people, it's like a book exchange to some degree. You can take your old books in there and get credit for, you know, buying other books. I haven't gone down there in quite some time. I need to, now that I'm into doing, you know, collage and art pieces and whatever. So I bet she's got some the photographic type books that I really want down there. Or the photography books. This paper is so awesome. So thick. Oh no! Okay, this is not the best example of how to do this, but it's the same theory no matter what. Yeah, my next two are already torn. It's my understanding you can put a ruler in the crease as you go to pull these out. I've not ever done that. Of course, I normally don't have this much issue with books either. I swear there's something that happens when you start doing stuff on camera. You have way more issues, way more crap go wrong. It's the weirdest thing. Okay. I don't know if you can tell yet. Okay, see if I can't get you up there close enough. Well, the light in here is funky. Okay, this is the section that hasn't had any thinned out. If you see close to the spine here, how they all sit together, and then these ones are all, they'll have a gap every so often. See? That's where we've thinned pages out. Now, why does this matter? What's the whole point in doing this? Well, when you start filling this up with ephemera or journaling or papers or tuck spots or alright, maybe you're going to make a baby book variety, which I love to do. I love doing the baby books in these. Memory keepsake books. You're going to have photos, and you're going to have their birthday cards or Christmas cards. All of that stuff that you stick in is going to take up space. And you might not think a lot of space, but it will. When you get a whole book full of it, it will take up space. And even if you were using this as a writing journal, maybe you wanted to do a gratitude journal, or keep a dream diary or something like that, even if you stuck, you know, we're going to go back through and glue our torn pages on either side. We're going to glue every single one together like this, so that'll be one page. But even if you glued scrapbook paper or something pretty on here to actually write on, so you didn't see all of this, that's still, you know, that's 2 extra pages right here. It's 2 extra pages right here, you know, so you'll get back space-wise what you just took out. Okay, that was 2, was it? Oh, I lost count. That's why I don't do these on camera usually. Oh, that was 2 or 4. It looks like it was just 2. Well, I guess I could count page numbers. Would be the 29, 31. No, that was 4 total. Okay. Alright, whatever. 3, 4, 5. Now we're getting to the end here, and I like to leave more pages as we did at the front, just so the book has some stability. Let's see, this should be the last section, I think. You see how thin this book is now? Craziness. When I first learned that people were doing this to books, I was absolutely mortified. Like, it's a book. And when I started, when I got brave and did my very first one, what I did was, went to the thrift store specifically, found the most beat up book possible, and started learning how to do this stuff on this poor beat up book. And I progressed from there. But yet, still the idea of decimating a book is horrible, especially since I love to write. Actually, NaNoWriMo's coming up. I don't know if you guys are into NaNoWriMo. It's in November. It is National Novel Writing Month is in November. But there's some of us that are crazy enough to participate in NaNoWriMo, and I think I'm going to try and do it this year again. The goal is to get 50,000 words written in a month. And I've won quite a few years in a row, and there's a few years I didn't do it. Last year I didn't finish, but I started it knowing that I wouldn't be able to make it all the way through. But yeah, the whole idea is to get something down. We always say, oh, I want to write a book, and we never put in the time or effort. But NaNoWriMo helps you get off your butt, gives you an actual deadline. you don't win anything per se. I mean, you can get a certificate at the end or whatever, but the winning is the fact that you sat down and they track your, you punch in daily what your word count was for that day or whatever, and then there's a tally at the end. But it's motivational to get you off your butt and get you to start writing that book you want to write someday. No matter what happens to it after that, that's up to you. But it's really a lot of fun. I think I'm going to do it again this year. But I was thinking of making a book of notes book out of doing these. I don't know, maybe I should. Although I should have started already, because a lot of people plan their NaNoWriMo, they plan in October. I don't plan my books. I sit down on the very first day of NaNoWriMo and I'm what they call a pantser. I just start writing. I don't know, it works for me. Anyhow, back to our altered book. We have taken out this much. We probably could have taken out a little more, but I love the paper that's in this and the way that it feels. So I'm going to leave this one as is. But there's no hard and fast rules on how many pages you have to take out. Just count a few, pull a few out. Count a few, pull a few out. But when this gets filled up, and I don't think I have one handy to show you. Oh goodness. When you start adding to these, they change shape significantly. Oh, this is the one I made. This one is gutted, completely gutted, and added to, so it started like one of these. Oh. So that's one of those, like so. I have an altered one. Oh, somewhere. Where are you, my friend? Oh. No. Ow. Okay, this is one that I'm working in, and it's far from full yet. Set that over there. And this one was significantly modified. I took out so many pages on this one because I knew I wanted to add a lot to it. But it's got mail, it's got paint, I stuck magazine pictures, and some, man, I'm having a hard time with these, scrapbook paper in there. Still got plenty to work on, plenty to do. You can add extras in, just stick them in with washi or whatever. I don't think I made any of these pockets. When you glue these together, because these are all glued, the torn pages were in between these pages. These are glued together. But what you can do, let me show you those. Oh my goodness, so much stuff. My abundance everywhere, my abundance. Okay, let me pick this one just because I'm here. I usually start with stick glue. You can use whatever glue you want. This one is about out, so I don't know how far this will go. But glue all the way up to your crease on one side, or on one page. Now, this is the basic way to do this. I can get it done before I show you the next one. Funny, my brain jumped so far ahead and my body's like, hang on a minute. Goodness. Okay, I like to pull the page taut, make sure that the book kind of follows it. grab a ruler or some such and push down in the direction you want to go. That will help get any air bubbles out. I have not had any issues with this so far. And I'll usually do 2 or 3 sections like this and then set the book aside and let them dry completely. Because it is glue, it does need to set, and the more you mess with it before it's set, the more you're likely to have some kind of issue or air bubble or something, just from moving it around. Okay, where's our next set? So flip through again until you get to the next ugly bits. This is the other reason I leave these in. They're easier to find this way. But if this bugs you, you can pull them out. I'm not going to because the book wasn't put together quite the way as I thought it was. And I don't want to take a chance on tearing pages on either side. But, that being said, we could glue this again and stick this page directly to it. Or glue down some pretty paper to this page and this page and work out if you want a pocket, a top loading pocket, or if you want a side loading pocket. And what you can do once you've got the pretty paper down, because we're still going to seal these together, this still won't be seen, it will be just fine. But if you want a top loading pocket, then I would run a bead of glue, of wet glue, just a tiny bead, you don't need a lot to do this, but run your bead of glue along the edge here, along the bottom, and pull this page, smooth it from here across, and then smooth this edge out. If you're doing that with wet glue though, make sure that you put a piece of wax paper underneath, because all your extra glue, any excess, will go onto your next pages and stick them together. Usually it's not a big deal, but it is a pain in the butt. So you can also, I don't have any punches or anything. I've seen people with the half circle punches. You could do that before you stuck that down. But you'd have pretty paper in here. Why does that matter? Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily, but that will help you know that there's something in there. What do I have on hand? Hey guys, sorry, my camera battery keeps crapping out on me. So I will do a voiceover for this next part, and I'm just going through picking pretty paper, and we'll show you how I usually do my pockets. Not always, but usually. The paper I'm using is the crinkly paper I made out of altering a composition notebook, and I just crinkled pages. Well, I sprayed them with all sorts of inks and water, and then rolled them up and crinkled them while it was wet and let it dry like that. They are fabulous. They've also got a slight shimmer from a tattered angel spray that I no longer have. I'm completely out of them now, and it's tragically sad. Well, we just fold those in half and glue one half down. There we go. And my glue is sad. Very sad. I have been known to use a palette knife and dig glue out of the last of those, and use the palette knife to spread it out real thin, but I did not in this particular occasion. So it's Dollar Tree glue after this. Don't mind my buff head. I find it much easier to line things up, mostly if I stick my my peepers on the far side of them. That way I don't have to worry about turning and moving stuff too terribly. Here I'm using the ruler to help uncrinkle some of the paper, so it's got a better adhesion to the glue, so we can stick our pages together. And do the same thing on this side. And this is just Dollar Tree glue. I did find like an 8-pack of them for $1, so they will do. Sometimes when you have a budget, you can't always have the awesome, amazing stick glue. So we will make do. Now when you do this, you can make the pretty paper to where it fits completely in here. I didn't worry about it because it's going to be a pocket and you won't see, for the most part, you won't see all of the inside. You can also do this if you wanted to not glue the book pages together to cover the smuts left in the middle from where we tore pages out. You could just cover that whole double page section with pretty paper. You wouldn't have to glue them together. I do just because it seemed to make sense at the time. Okay, and since I got glue on the bottom there, and the side crease, or the inside crease, it's made sense to just run in a little extra glue along the sides. But normally I would use wet glue for the bottom and the outside edge. So we'll see how it does. If it does pop later on or come undone, I'll use wet glue to fix that. And then just use your ruler or some such gently to smooth that out. I had a little extra blob of glue. I do have a tiny bit of paper sticking up above there, which I can trim later if we need to. But there is my pocket, and see how you see the inside? I find that it just adds a little bit of character to a book. And you could add just a little bit, just enough colored paper at the front and back just to see. You wouldn't have to use a whole sheet if you didn't want to. This is my composition notebook again. Oh, excuse me. I just pulled all the stitching out, which is amazingly easy, or surprisingly I should say. For as much abuse as those books take, or can take, and I've done quite a few of them, where they've been altered and modified significantly, yet they take quite a bit of abuse, and they've only got 2 threads, you know, standard dog food bag type stitching to hold them together, or I don't know, horse food, chicken feed, that kind of thing, duck feed. We used to have ducks till the neighbor's cat ate them, but yes. Anywho, okay, same thing here, only this time I'm going to do a pocket, a side pocket, just to show the difference therein. Now in my side pockets, when I do this, I prefer to make like mini notebooks or mini booklets or that kind of thing. Of course, it may just be that I absolutely love the mini booklets anyway. It does give extra journaling space, and well, they come in handy if you happen to have your book with you somewhere, and you know that there's a niece or nephew or your friend's kids or something bored or whatever, and they don't have their own stuff to keep them entertained. You can always, you know, donate a mini booklet or something, or somebody needs, you know, pen and paper or whatever, then, you know, just give them a mini booklet out of your book. I tend to make a bunch of them, and they don't take long to make, so that's fun. But people seem to enjoy them. Okay. I always forget that the little bitty glue sticks don't go quite as far in a session there, so you're constantly winding it up. Okay, and this one, I believe I did pull out the glue and glue just a little squiggly line top and bottom, and the inside crease just for good measure. the page over, hold it taut, and use your ruler or whatever you're using. I should mention, with using a ruler to do this, be very careful what type of paper you have. Not all paper can handle that, and I have torn quite a few pages like that. And yeah, I shouldn't have looked I was trying to show you the inside there, but because it's wet, we're going to close the book and find a bigger, heavier book, and there's my big glue book for collage. Stick that on top, and that's about the end of it. Now I have to plan insides for these covers, which I'll be doing in other videos. Make sure you close up all your glues, which I'm notorious for leaving. But yeah, that is how I prep books to be altered, and some of the stuff we can do with it. Keep your papers, so much you can do with those. And that's about it. So thank you for being here. Love you, bye-bye.